Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I'm a jackass today, folks, because I forgot to bring us up in the background, and I was doing my entire show opener and forgot to bring us up. But here we are today. So alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. Just your host, Sean. We've bellied up to the bar today. I figured, why not make a lot of mistakes? Because the gentleman we're talking to is ruggedly handsome, and he's gone ahead and he's thrown me off of my game. He's already, this is how it is. You get old. These young guys come around, they throw you off your game. So why not have another Marine throw me off my game? So joining us from parts unknown in the capital region, hiding inside of a basement, just like Batman. He could be Batman. We've never seen the two of them in the same place at the same time. Talking about movement restoration, how to get yourself back up in movement, either after an injury or maybe too much of a sedentary life. Joining us for all those type of things, it's Mr. And I didn't mess up spelling his name either. It's Mr. Ben Brickman.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. See, I messed that whole thing up. Like, I was jamming in my own theme music and enjoying it, and I was like, do 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 do. Completely forgot to bring us up. This happens in my life. So, but all right, brother. So Ben's going to be here. We're going to be talking about movement restoration, getting back into movement. We're going to talk a little bit about how movement like this can affect your workplace and your own personal attitude in your workplace, and how Ben can get you after work, get your butt up out of that chair that's been getting wider and wider as your desk, and get you back into the space. Am I pretty accurate at that point, Ben?
That's a good little synopsis. You did a good job at that.
I mean, I'm trying to use the Reader's Digest version of all these things, but before we get too far into it, as always, folks, we got the big board over my shoulder for sticker and a cause. Let's see if I can get a better angle on it. Yes, that is my Raven sticker for all of you to look at. The big board for sticker and a cause. If you got something you support, something you believe in, something you're thinking about that you think other people should know about, reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, our Facebook page, our website is the Above the Bar Podcast, abovethebarpodcast.com. Our email address is abovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. Any one of those locations, reach out. Let me know what you got going on. I'll tell you where to send this stuff to. We'll read about you live here in the air. We'll put your sticker up here on the big board so everybody can know about it. Then we need to talk about our sponsors, and that's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson and Cooksaki and Schoharie, North America's largest custom window treatment company. They're doing everything from blind, shade, shutters, drapery. They do window tint, you name it. They've got access to it. It's all custom. It's all custom fit to your home, to your needs. Every single bit of that, there's nothing like having custom in your home. A lot of people think like, oh, I'll just go down to a big box store and throw it in. Look, they never fit. They never work. And just something to think about is all that budget blind stuff. They come with at least a 5-year, no questions asked warranty. What does that mean? Find me something else in life that has a no questions asked warranty. You drive your car off the lot and it gets hit by something, you're going to pay to have it fixed. These guys, I don't care if the cat does an evil Knievel off your window treatments. Call them up, tell them you need to get it fixed, and they're going to go ahead and take care of it at 0.0 cost for a new window treatment. So that's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson and Cooksaki and Schoharie. And for the month of September, it is buy 2 window treatments, get the third one free. And as always, if you tell them you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to give you that additional 5% off. So I think it's a pretty good deal. What do you think, Ben? Does that sound like a stupendous?
That sounds like a good deal.
Not too shabby of a deal. Ben actually said he's going to buy a whole bunch of them, just keep them around so that people actually use them as weights, and like it'll be an entire thing. And it'll be part of movement restoration. Can you pull up and down window treatments? It's a shoulder workout, Ben.
You got to be able to reach overhead for it.
That's it. See, we figured it all out. We brought it all back together. So make sure you're reaching out to Budget Blinds at budgetblinds.com, and they'll be sure to help you out, folks. All right, Ben. All of that is done. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Sean. How you doing?
Stupendous as always. See, it's a great word. See, Ben, you tried to not smile when I said stupendous. It's almost impossible to not smile when somebody says that.
You definitely don't hear it every day. That is the truth.
Unless you hang out with me. So tell us, so give everybody a little bit of background here on Ben. Let me pull my notes up here.
Where I came from, and how I kind of got into it, that kind of thing.
What I was going to say is, so Ben is the founder of Worksite Fitness. You can also check him out at worksitefitness.com if you want to see what he's
fitworksite.com.
Fitworksite.com.
Yeah, worksitefitness.com will take you to our sister company in Perth, Australia. So,
and then he's got his YouTube page, which if you go on the YouTube page and check out at Coach Brickman, he'll come up with that. So, but let me see here. So you grew up in Smallbany, joined the Marine Corps in 2000. Dude, I probably found your job for you when you went to boot camp. There's a
I went on an infantry contract.
Listen, I was the assistant recruiter instructor for Albany.
Really?
Who was your
recruiter? Gunny French ran the office. Yep. But now he's Master Sergeant. Well, he's retired now, as far as I know. So Master Sergeant French. Yeah.
He never made Master Sergeant. He was Gunny French.
I had Staff Sergeant. Man, it's been a long day. I can't think of his name. Sergeant Helguero was the guy that signed me up. And then Sergeant Helguero was transferred. And then we got another guy, and I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. Hopefully he's not watching. He'll be pissed. How the hell did you forget my name? But
Ben, you have no idea how funny that is to me. That Bruce Wayne French. You know that was his full name was Bruce Wayne, right?
I did not know that.
So his name was Bruce Wayne French.
That's awesome.
He was Batman.
Yeah, he was a badass. Yeah, everybody looked up to him. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I used to like to harass him. So him and I were assistant recruiter instructors together, and then I used to like to harass him because he lost recruiter of the year to me.
No.
He was a good dude though. I know Bruce very well. I haven't talked to him in years. Gosh, he retired before I did.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in years. God, that's too funny. So you joined the Marine Corps, two deployments. Did you do 2 to Afghanistan?
Yeah, both to Afghanistan. Yeah.
Both to Afghanistan. But then you Division I ball, man.
Yeah.
How did you like? That's a pretty rare thing to do 4 years, because typically 4 years in the Marine Corps and then come back out to play Division I ball is a pretty rare animal. How'd you pull that off?
So got out of the Marine Corps 2013. I started school at Hudson Valley in 2014, and was definitely missing that brotherhood and the team and all of that. I miss being one of the guys. There was nobody with my mentality pretty much anywhere in my life at all, and I'd always wanted to play football, and just never the right opportunity really never presented itself. And when I got to the school and I signed up for classes, I asked them if they had a football team, and they said, yeah, go talk to Coach Mueling. He's in the back of the school. So drove to the back of the school, walked into Coach Mueling's office, and the rest is kind of history. I played at Hudson Valley in 2014 and 2016. I was injured in 2015, which I'll circle back to that in a little bit. I graduated with my bachelor's degree, or not bachelor's, I'm sorry. Graduated with an associate's in business from Hudson Valley. Did one more year, started in the exercise science program that they had just started, to get myself one more year there. And then after that, I transferred to Syracuse. And the story there is kind of interesting. I showed up at their office every single day until they finally gave me a tryout. Yeah, I would just go and talk to the secretary. She was super nice. And I was just like, yeah, I haven't heard from anybody. Could you ask them, whatever, leave, come back, do it again the next day. And eventually I showed up one time and everybody's walking around. It was later in the day. I guess everybody was getting ready to go home. And I ran into Coach Babers. He's the head coach of Syracuse at the time. And I told him the whole situation. I only had 2 years of eligibility, all this nonsense. And he got me set up with a tryout and everything. I did the tryout, did well enough, and made the team. I was with them for their 2017 and 2018 seasons.
And now what position did you play?
So I tried out as a slot receiver. And when I got there were 7 slot receivers, but only 3 wide receivers. So they made me a wide receiver. And it was tough. I know I'm sitting down, but I'm 5'8 3/4" according to the NFL. So 5'8 3/4" is not exactly your prototypical wide receiver. So it was an adventure to say the least.
Jermaine Lewis, who played for the Ravens and had a return in the did he have a return in that Super Bowl? Either way, Jermaine Lewis was 5'8".
Yeah. Steve Smith is 5'9". I mean, they are there. It's just not typically who you see out there playing wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's Plexico Burris, 6 foot,
yeah,
6 foot forever, but that's all. And look, man, I'm one of those guys. I don't care if you played end guard tackle in college. You know what an end guard tackle is, right? Sit at the end of the bench.
I know what you play defensive end, offensive guard. Yeah.
No, sit at the end of the bench, guard the water, and tackle anybody who comes near it.
Oh, I got you. Very funny.
I don't care. You were still on a Division I team. I'm one of those kind of guys that I find that absolutely amazing.
It was outstanding. It was great. It was an invaluable experience in my growth and development. There's a lot of things that I do now that I would not have been able to do if I hadn't had that opportunity. So,
I mean, that's
very grateful.
That's absolutely outstanding, brother. You got a couple people already making comments. My buddy Nathan says that Bruce was Batman and I was the Joker. Orchid's been on the show. She was another Marine. She says Semper Fi, brother. And Nate verified, he had the return in the Super Bowl. So you're doing all these things. And what were you studying while you were at Syracuse?
So I transferred and finished up a bachelor's degree in exercise science there at Syracuse.
Now, is that the same as kinesiology, or is that something completely?
It's very similar. There's probably one or two course difference. It's pretty much all the same thing. Where kinesiology is the study of muscle and movement, and exercise science is more of a more broad. You look at more different. But honestly, maybe two course difference between the two of them.
Now, typically, if somebody was going into that, what is the typical career path for folks that are going into exercise?
So to be honest with you, this is my advice to anybody that is thinking about exercise science. It's know what you want to do with it, because it's one of those degrees which can really, really help you. It can be an invaluable asset to you if you've got the right path in mind, but it can also, get you working at Denny's if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a plan. It's the typical career track for somebody in that is usually physical therapist, strength and conditioning coach, gym owner, or researcher. Some people go on, they get their master's degree or they get a PhD in a specified field under exercise science, like cardiac rehab, something along those lines.
Okay.
So I went in with the intention of being a physical therapist, and that was my plan, from the start. Go there, get my degree, go across the street to SUNY Upstate, get my physical therapy degree, be a physical therapist. That was kind of the idea. So that didn't exactly work out. We can circle back to that on a different question in a little bit, but so I got out, graduated in 2019, came home, and I was trying to make professional football work. I really wanted it. I was showing some life on the field, and it was one of those things where if I just didn't pursue it and see it to the end, I couldn't lie still in my grave. I had to finish it out. So I went to bounced around to tryouts here and there. I was actually invited to camp for the Albany team. I can't remember. I had this conversation with somebody like a couple hours ago, and I can't remember who they were before they were the Firebirds. They were Empire. That's right.
Empire, yep.
Yeah. They invited me to a 4-day waiver. Said they'd love to see more of me, and then the team folded, and the pandemic hit right after. So that once the pandemic hit, everything was kind of done, and I was like, I got to take this fitness thing seriously, figure out what I'm going to do with my life, and be a grown up.
Well, there's the outdoor semi-pro team also. I know a guy named Mike Lord that played for them.
Yeah, the Troy Fighting Irish. I played for them for a year.
Oh, did you? You might have known.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Coach Job was the. Do you know Coach Job?
I don't know him. I knew Mike Lord because he worked on the railroad with me.
Yep.
Solid Guinea meathead, and I love him. The purest.
He's a good dude.
Did you know Mike Lord?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He was defense, right? D line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just super reliable. One of the most reliable guys we had on our team.
just meathead as meathead can be. He's an engineer on the railroad.
I didn't know that.
He's a train engineer. Nate wants to know already. Do you have what's your cheat day meal? He already wants to know, man. What's your cheat?
What's my cheat day?
Cheat day meal.
It depends. I switch it up. I don't do the same thing all the time. Pancakes, I think, have been my go-to recently.
Okay.
A couple Saturdays in a row, I wake up and make myself pancakes. But honestly, I'm moving so much, powerlifting, golfing, hiking. I'm doing so much that I'm literally just eating anything right now. I'm probably well over 3,000 calories a day, just eating anything in front of me. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
something that people don't realize. Like, if you want to eat a lot and you want to eat a lot of things, I mean, I don't go crazy. I don't eat a box of Pop-Tarts, but if you want to eat a lot and eat a lot of things that people think is junk, like pizza, I eat pizza all the time. You train yourself that way. Train yourself to use that, to burn those calories, and you can have it and be healthy. So,
I get it completely. That makes perfect sense to me. I mean, think about it. When we were in the Marine Corps, we were constantly moving, constantly doing stuff, and I ate like an absolute animal. Animal. So you're doing all this. I saw some. Did I see CFL opportunities?
So I actually had a tryout for. I never made it to the tryout because the pandemic hit and everything shut down. So actually, my CFL tryout was I think it was April 19th or 20th, I think, and the country shut down on April 19th. So actually, before the world shut down, that tryout was canceled. So something was up, and that's really when it all ended.
All right, so but you had already, by that point, I'm looking here, you had already, let's see here, in 20. I'm looking at all the different stuff. You were already at that point. You had your certificate for strength and conditioning coaching. You through the NSCA. I mean, you were already kind of headed in this path. When did you kind of decide that, okay, maybe being a physical therapist, maybe doing those things probably isn't in my wheelhouse? I got something else though that I got a passion for. When did that start for you?
So actually, I may upset some people, but that's okay.
Please upset people.
Yeah. So I went to SUNY Upstate for an interview, just to meet everybody, and I really liked the students. But when I looked, before I showed up, I looked at the syllabus, and what I thought when I looked at the syllabus is how little of it actually has anything to do with actually helping people and actually restoring movement and doing the things that I wanted to do. And I'd been doing a lot of research. I was talking to a lot of physical therapists, good physical therapists. Between my conversations with the students, my conversations with the faculty, I did not get the feeling or the impression that getting a physical therapy degree was going to be the pathway to the best knowledge. In the Marine Corps, I mean, you have to have knowledge. You have to be good at your job. People die if you're not good at your job. And, I kind of taken that outside. And yes, I know in most cases, physical therapy isn't a life or death. But, in some cases, it is life or death. Yeah. And I, frankly, was not happy with what was being taught to, young physical therapy students. And ever since, I've only hardened my time outside doing what I'm doing as a movement restoration specialist has only hardened my resolve in that thought process, because I get a lot of people that come see me who've been in physical therapy, and physical therapy made them worse. And the things they tell me they're doing, I'm just it just, boggles the mind. It's happened a few times. I've had people come in and tell me they got worse at physical therapy. And this isn't every physical therapist. This is some of them. There are some really good ones. There are people that I refer people to, but the average cookie cutter physical therapist who has the knowledge that was given to them in physical therapy school does not have, in my opinion, the qualifications to assess and correct movement imbalances. Can they rehabilitate a torn ACL? Sure. They can get somebody walking again, but getting them back to playing sports at full speed, I just don't think it's there. There is a missing link in the chain, so to speak. I think we're asking physical therapists to do something that, you know, they're not prepared for. I'm writing a book about it right now. Why exactly this is the case. No, it's not all about that. It's one small portion of the book. I would say back in the day, go back about 60, 70 years, physical therapists were primarily an associate's degree, maybe a bachelor's degree a couple years later. And the physical therapists, they would take somebody who was hurt and they would get them walking again. And that's all they had to do. All they had to do was get somebody walking, because that person would leave, they'd go back to their farm and they'd work all day and they would move. Nowadays, people leave the physical therapist's office and they sit in their car and, they go eat breakfast and then they go to their job and they sit, and then they go home and they sit, and then they go to bed and they lounge and they watch TV. Then they wake up and do the same thing all over again. So the knowledge never really progressed past, just getting people walking again. But getting people walking isn't enough. Like, if you've got low back pain, one of the most important movement to restore is a deadlift. And there isn't a single physical therapist with that in their protocol, at least not official. I'm sure there's some physical therapists that figured it out. We're like, hey, we got to get people deadlifting. But if you look at the official protocols that they pass out, not going to find it.
I got to pause you, Ben. I got to pause you, because that's the one exercise, as somebody who used to spend a lot of, I still go to the gym. I can't not do it. It's a mental thing, but I would sit there and tell you deadlift is how you're going to blow your back out.
If you do it wrong.
Well, absolutely, because I think most people don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
They watch somebody like Anatoly, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
and they're like, I could do that, and they're like, and then next thing you know, they're going to see the physical therapist before they come to you. So tell me a little bit about that, because I'm very curious why you.
So what is a correct deadlift, or
just like, what is it about the deadlift that can help fix people's back pain?
So a deadlift, any movement when it's performed correctly causes the muscles to contract. Your muscles are continuous with your bones via tendons. Tendons attach muscle to bone. So when you contract your muscle will then pull your bones into place through its connection with the tendons. So the reason I love the deadlift so much is because when you deadlift a lot of weight, 75 to 85% of your 1 rep max, every single one of your muscles is pulling your bones into the correct position. It's one of the most powerful postural correction exercises there is when it's performed correctly. When it's performed incorrectly, it's one of the most powerful postural destruction exercises there is, and body destruction. So, the reason the deadlift is so important, it's one of the few movements that we still do every single day. People bend over every day to put their shoes on, and people blow their backs out every day just putting their shoes on. So, when somebody's coming in here, the first thing that I do is restore a deadlift. It is the end of the world if you can't deadlift correctly.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny you mentioned the shoe thing. I knew a guy, staying with both of us in our Marine Corps careers. And look, folks, if you want to know what Ben's got going on, see some of his motions, you can check him out on youtube.com under @Coach Brickman, BRICKMAN. You can see what he's got going on. But I knew of a gunny when I was a young sergeant sitting down tying his boot in the shop. And while he was tying his boot, he bent over to do it and blew a disc out in his back.
Yep.
And that was, he ended his whole career tying his boot and doing that. I want to stay with this. Go back to what you were saying about physical therapists and movement restoration. I got kind of two questions here. So did you invent the idea of a movement restoration specialist? Because I've never heard the term before I met you. And then the other question is are you like is this like the second tier to physical therapy? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah. Good question. Yeah. So, sorry, what was your first question again?
Did you invent that term, movement restoration?
No, I don't. So I've seen movement restoration out in California. I saw there was like some place that says something about movement restoration. I don't know if they call themselves movement restoration specialists. Nobody's called me up and sued me or sent me a cease and desist letter, so I'm rolling with it till that happens. What I'm trying to do with movement restoration, though, is, create that final link in the healthcare chain where, God forbid you need surgery, you get it. You go to physical therapy. The physical therapist They make sure your wounds heal. They make sure you're ambulatory. They make sure everything's all closed up and everything's nice and pretty. And then you send them to a movement restoration specialist, and this person teaches them how to lift and how to move and how to function again.
Okay.
You know, because that's not if any physical therapists want to call me up and you know have a talk about it, I'd love to, you know, because the first question I'm going to ask this person is, you know, in what class did you learn how to teach somebody how to deadlift? You know, and then my next question is going to be, do you know how to deadlift? Because if you don't know how to deadlift, how are you going to teach somebody else how to deadlift? And I've been to these places and I've seen these people, and I can look at somebody and know if they can deadlift or not. I've been doing it long enough, and there aren't too many of them that I've looked at that I've seen like that person can. There has been a few, but I would say they're the minority.
All right, you have a question on Instagram.
Okay, what do we got?
A very good friend of mine, Isaiah Gill, which I could see he's the kind of guy who needs, because he's a professional drummer.
Okay.
He's a professional drummer, and he's also the guy that wants to know if you've got if you've renewed your extended warranty on your car. He's going to pick on you. That's what I always say. He said he wants to know, what is the safest way to do a Romanian deadlift?
Neutral spine. Yeah, and it doesn't matter what you do it with a neutral. It almost doesn't matter what you do. Just make sure you have a neutral spine. You should never be in any sort of lumbar flexion. Your low back should never be rounded in a deadlift. A Romanian deadlift or a regular deadlift. The lumbar spine should be neutral. Now the spine can round a little bit when subjected to load. That's normal. You ever see you see those flatbeds that are curved?
Yes.
The whole reason they do that is because the weight in the center actually makes the structure stronger. So it's a very similar in a deadlift, where when you pull and you begin the movement with a neutral spine and you pull, every now and then a little rounding occurs, but it doesn't really go any further. And it's just the body being subjected to force. But I see these people starting the deadlift with a rounded low back, and it gives me like anxiety. I've had to leave the gym before because I saw somebody deadlifting and I just had to leave. It was so bad.
He said booty out equals neutral.
What's that?
He said booty out equals neutral.
This is true. This is very true. Yes.
Well,
don't be. This is one of my favorite cues. Don't be that girl at the club. Don't be that girl at the club that rounds her low back and backs up on it, dude. Don't be her.
That's how you can tell if you're doing it wrong. Are you twerking, or are you the girl that looks like a cardboard box? Fair enough. He said, and as the friend of this network, let me share about my new business. Shut up. Which is the booty out, neutral spine, booty out. Look, folks, if you have questions for Ben, we're talking about movement restoration. I'm going to ask him a question here about how this affects people, because you see people every day in the work world. How are you seeing their attitude toward when they come back, how that's affecting culture where they're working? We're going to talk about that. But if you have questions for Ben, you want to know about Ben, maybe you're finding me through Ben or Ben through me, drop those questions into the chat here. He'll be able to see them live. We'll be able to talk about those kind of things. What are some of the things you're seeing, though, from people in their professional lives when they've come and seen you? Maybe they're, hey, you know, I've been at a desk for years, I'm having issues, and they know that because of this, their attitude's faltering. Yeah. What are you seeing it's affecting their work life?
Yeah, I get a lot of people, sedentary. They want to do things, they want to hike, they want to play with their kids. And it really takes an emotional toll when you're not able to do that. And I get some people in here and they're just like, I never thought I would ever struggle to, I don't know, put a backpack on and walk into the office. Like, I never thought I would ever have to struggle with that. And then they come to me and then, and they're demoralized, and the smile on their face, what makes it all worth it is the smile on people's face when they walk out and they feel better and they're like, there's hope. It's a good feeling. But yeah, I can tell you the people that I talk to who don't come see me, they look miserable. I can tell you that the people who do come see me and they do what I tell them to do and they get better, and they go off on their own, they're very happy. They're always happy to see me. They've always got a smile on their face. They got their flat shoes on. Life's beautiful.
Their flat shoes on. I like that. Now, how about for folks that maybe they've had recent surgeries, they've had some stuff. They're almost clear of that physical therapist.
Yeah.
they've never worked out. They've never been a gym person. They're maybe a little bit older, and they're concerned about coming into a place like that,
Yeah.
I don't know how much free weight and whatnot you've got around the room, but they're like, I don't know if I can go into a place like that. How do you get them to feel comfortable in that environment?
Well, just talking to them. A lot of times people are really surprised someone's willing to talk to them and, listen to them and listen to their, how they feel about things. Generally, just, a 15-minute conversations, usually about as long as it takes. And I can get a good feel. There are some people you really can't help. In order for someone to succeed in movement restoration, they have to want it. You have to want it. It's not me doing something for you. We've kind of been wired as a society to take a pill, do this, do that, get a surgery. Somebody does something for you. In movement restoration, you're doing something for yourself, and I'm your guide. That is how it works. When someone approaches with an open mind, and we have a good, productive, constructive conversation, I win them over pretty quickly. I tell them, if you move correctly, it doesn't hurt. There's lots of people your age who can. Like if I'm talking to an older person, I'm like, well, I've got an 80-year-old guy who can rack pull 185. So, if he can do it, you can. Yeah. Yeah, he can pull 155 pounds off the ground, deadlift. Yeah, he's 81 years old.
Listen, I'll tell you, I've known a lot of older folks. For those of you that spend any time in your local church, you will find where all your older folks are at.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, most of them will tell you if you want to live a long and healthy and happy life, muscle and muscle tone is every bit of it, because you just lose it as you get older. I mean, I'll be 50 next year, and I notice it just in the time from retirement to today. What if somebody is in a position and it's not, they're not recovering from anything. They haven't had a sedentary life. They just are looking for a different approach to their fitness to keep active. Is your place the kind of place for that? Or is it more like, hey, go find, what's the other one? Like, the first rule of CrossFit, right? The first
but don't talk about it or tell everybody.
Tell everybody.
Literally tell everybody. Yeah.
The first rule of CrossFit is to talk about CrossFit. But like, is your place the kind of place for that, or should they be looking for more of that gym or that CrossFit or that something? Where do you fit into that?
So it depends on the person. I mean, my programming can work for literally anybody. I mean, if you're a human being with control over all your limbs, and it'll work for you. Yeah, and
I'm not a human being.
The people that do the best, they're at the end of the day, they're knowledge. They're here to learn. They're knowledge seekers. They're here. They want to learn. They want power over. If they've got a problem, they want power over it. If they want to build strength, they want the knowledge to do that. If you're looking for a place with girls in really tight clothes and loud music and flashy lights, this isn't the place for you. I don't do that. Yeah. So the people I've and there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever motivates you to move, go find a place that motivates you to move. But yeah, generally when I get those people, I restore their movement, and they leave and they go do what they want to do, and everybody's happy.
Well, dude, I love the idea of what you're talking about. This is right up, because it's such a different approach to getting healthy and getting yourself where you need to be. So now the other question is I imagine, again, your family's probably here in the Capital Region. I ask this of every entrepreneur that I know, anyone who has a business. I don't know if I've ever asked this or know this about you. Wife, kids, anything like that?
No wife, no kids. Gotta get the business off the ground first before.
So that comes into but when you told your family, hey, I've got a bachelor's degree, and instead of going and following this very comfortable Albany Med, St. Peter's, medical world in the Capital District, I'm going to go ahead and just go do my own thing. What was the approach to you when you were from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I'm just going to go do my own thing?
Yeah. Well, they were really so it's kind of started off with me just trying to make professional football work, and they were really supportive of that. And then that kind of rolled right in. That was 2019. That rolled right into the pandemic. They were supportive of that. I mean, gyms were closed. Everything was closed. I mean, the whole world stopped. I think the reason why my parents have been as patient as they have been is because one night my mom called me in the middle of the night. She never does this. This is what I'm in at the time. I'm in Syracuse, so it's probably 2018. Probably 2018. My mom calls me in the middle of the night and tells me she has excruciating neck pain. And so at the time I've been reading this book, which very influential in my life. It's my mobility, my system for myofascial release and mobility. I've been reading this book, and I told her, I was like, roll your feet out and then give me a call if that doesn't work. And she didn't call me back, and I went back to sleep. And I honestly completely forgot about it. Completely forgot it. It was like, I was half asleep. I just rolled over, told her, said something just so that, something that I thought would work and would let me go back to sleep as soon as possible. And, but it worked. She rolled her feet out and she's like, oh my God, Ben, I can't believe that worked. Well, how on earth did you know to do that? And I told her about, this book that I was reading. If you wanted to know, it's called Anatomy Trains by Thomas Myers. The man's a genius, deserves a Nobel Prize. And, it's an absolute travesty that he doesn't have one. I read that book cover to cover, and that's I use it in my business every single day. It's one of the reasons I am as successful as I am. So that is probably they never told me why, but I can think of and I've helped them. I've helped my dad, his shoulder, his hip, his back, mom back a few times. I help them out. They can see, it's not just I'm not wasting time. I'm doing something productive, and it isn't typical, but the world definitely needs it. So, if you ever run into them in public, please thank them. Be like, thank you for letting Ben shitbag it up at Worksite Fitness for 4 years.
We're gonna make a left turn for a moment because I'm very curious. What do you read? What are the Ben Brickman books?
Oh no!
I'm listening to Zig Ziglar. John C. God, I can't think of his last name now. But I'm listening to Grant Cardone, very business, sales, that type of stuff. I'm curious, what is Ben Brickman listening to or reading?
So that's a great question. Yeah, I really love everything that doesn't have to do with what I do. When I'm outside of here, I don't read about it. I set time in my schedule to go and read and see what's going on and try to learn new things. But when I'm outside of here, I really love quantum mechanics. I love cosmology. I love physics. Yeah, just not so much. I don't want to ever memorize all the formulas and learn how to do things and discover things. But I love seeing what's been discovered and what exists, and everything we've learned about space. It's probably every fun fact about space is probably in my head somewhere. There's that. I love reading history. I love World War II history. I love reading. I've read a bunch of books about the past presidents, kind of all over. Yeah.
Can I give you one to check out?
Who should I read about?
No, so I can't think of the girl's name. So Ben and I are on a morning call every Wednesday when we both can make it, where we a bunch of people in the Albany area, and there's one girl who's super knows all the presidents and stuff about all the presidents. I can't think of who it is, but if you ever get a chance, completely left turn, folks. I promise you we're going to go back to talking about movement restoration, but Ben and I are going to geek out for a moment. Have you ever heard of Wandry podcast, a group called Wandry?
I have not. Wandry. I would type it in my phone, but I'm using my phone as a camera.
Yeah, Wandry it's spelled just like it sounds. Wondry. Wandry.
Yep.
They did back before the last presidential election. They did a thing called Wicked Games. It was what it was called, and it was 52 weeks. Every presidential election was a new episode each week. And it talked about how things happened during that election. Whether somebody was it got into the duels back in the 1800s, it got into this one attempting to shoot that one in the middle of Congress, things that today we would be like, what? Yeah. I
don't know that anybody would be surprised if that happened.
This representative pulled a pistol out on, POTUS pages. Denise, look who's joining us. Our favorite Denise. who ran. Denise, Denise has been, she's great. But yeah,
Denise is everywhere.
She is everywhere. But check it out, because like the news likes to tell you, this is unprecedented in American politics, and then you read and you're like, Thomas Jefferson bought newspapers, fake newspapers, and just slurred people every day with fake news, and then was like, I didn't write that. I don't even know who that guy is. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
James Nurkowicz over on Instagram says, I would love to do this. Past injuries, car accidents make me pensive. Right now, when I feel like exercising, I lay down till the feeling passes. How do you start? Like, that's a great question. Like, now James is in Connecticut. He's going to correct me, but I'm almost positive he's in Connecticut. Like, is this a type of thing where, like, hey, I can find a movement restoration in most communities? Like, there's one guy who does it, or is it a very niche kind of thing? Fine.
No, right now, as far as I know, I'm the only guy.
You're in.
I'm in. I'm sure there are other people out there like me. I refuse. What I've discovered is not rocket science. I mean, the stuff that I watch about quantum mechanics and cosmology is way more complicated than what I've uncovered about the human body. But as far as I know, I'm the only person right now. And I am working on a book, and I'm working on a platform right now, working as hard as I can to get that up and running so that people can have access to knowledge that'll, help change their lives. I'm hard at work on it. I do what I can. But as far as I know, it's just me. I would say for somebody new right now, if you want to get better right now, I would say go to my YouTube channel and master every single stability exercise. If you're really tight and you're in a lot of pain, work through the mobility stuff first. Full disclaimer: if anything hurts, don't do it. That's rule number one. If anything feels like, if you feel like you're getting worse doing anything, definitely stop and follow everything in order. I've laid it all out in order. So if you go to the core stability playlist, start with the first exercise, work your way to the bottom, and don't do the next exercise until you can do the first exercise. But it's all those exercises are really low risk, much lower risk than what physical therapists are having people do. They ask people for dynamic core stability before they have static core stability. It's one of my many gripes about
What's the
them.
difference between dynamic and static?
So dynamic involves movement. So they're what a physical therapist may. And again, this isn't all of them. I know my sister's a physical therapist. Ben, you're in what? Not all of them. I'm just telling you what I heard. Okay.
Listen, your sister sucks, and I'm telling you, your sister sucks. Don't worry about Ben.
Don't ask somebody to stabilize their core while moving until they can stabilize their core in one place. That is my rule. That is one of the rules of movement restoration. And that goes for any stability exercise, for shoulder, for hip. And if you go to the channel and you watch some of the exercises, you'll see what I'm talking about.
What do you think about, Rita, this is my brother's aunt. She says pool exercises have always worked for her.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about things like the pool stuff? I did hot yoga. I wish I could figure my schedule out now again and go back to hot yoga. It was absolutely amazing for me.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on some of these different type of things like that?
Yeah. Some movement is better than no movement. That is rule one. As long as it's performed correctly and safely, some movement is better than no movement. I've never done a hot yoga program. I know yoga generally is more of a mobility and a stability modality, more so on the mobility side, where Pilates takes more of that stability side. When you're training a complete human being, you need mobility, you need stability, and you need strength. You need to be able to take that mobility and stability and then use it. So I would tell you, Sean, I want you deadlifting. I want you lifting. And I would say this for anybody. I don't care what you're doing. If you're a triathlete, if you're an astronaut, if you're just want to play with your kids, deadlift. Whatever it is.
That's amazing that you say that. Because again, I love watching all the Anatoly videos. It absolutely makes me giggle every time. Because I've known guys like that where you're like, dude, you weigh 110 pounds soaking wet rocks in your pocket. And then the guy's like, dude, he just deadlifted 220. And you're like, there's no reason that dude should be able to deadlift 220.
Yeah.
I know those guys, but it's just so amazing to me to hear you, because the other side about it is you always hear these stories about like, hey, deadlifting's how you're going to hurt yourself. Like when you're telling someone to deadlift, is it like weight belt deadlift, or is this no? How are you doing it?
No, you don't need a weight belt. If you're a weight belt is more of a reminder to engage your core. The weight belt doesn't really do anything in and of itself, other than it makes you feel secure. It gives the body the sense of stability. What you're taking is you're effectively, the weight belt is functioning like your transverse abdominis. You have a belt in your core called the transverse abdominis, and it functions effectively the same way that a weight belt works. And so when you're putting a weight belt on, you're effectively just adding another transverse abdominis, but it's not really doing anything for you because it's external. So if you have a fully functioning core, long answer, if you have a fully functioning core, you don't need a weight belt. If you lift correctly, you don't need a weight belt. If you lift incorrectly, a weight belt is only going to protect you for so long. There's lots of people out there who've blown their backs out with a weight belt on.
Well, real quick here, folks, we're about at that time for that New Scotland Spirits last call. All right, folks, quick shout out to the good people at New Scotland Spirits. If you're looking for the whiskey that's more than just a bottle on the shelf, this is it. Small batch, locally sourced, bold as hell. New Scotland Spirits is crafted right here in upstate New York. Every pour packs a punch of character and craft, just like Ben. Whether you're kicking back after a long day or toasting with friends, make it count. Make it New Scotland Spirits. Check out newscotlandspirits.com. New Scotland Spirits, real whiskey, no shortcuts.
Oh yeah, no shortcuts. Real movement, no shortcuts. Maybe I'll steal that.
Steal it away. Real movement, no shortcuts. I love the idea of it. So if somebody's out there and they're like my buddy James over here, he was on Instagram. He was asking about you being up here in New York. And obviously, again, folks, if you're not in the capital region, you're one of our viewers across the country, you can go to youtube.com. And if you go youtube.com / Coach Brickman, BRICKMAN, you can see all this stuff that Ben's got going on. You can kind of get into his program that way. If they're local and they're here in the capital region, how is somebody going to go about getting a hold of you? Is there like a process where you're like, okay, come on in, I'll see if you're a candidate for what I do, or is everyone a candidate for what you do?
So everything starts with an assessment. You've got to be willing to pay me $75 and show up to my facility, and I will.
Fuck that.
I have conversations with people. You can always go to the website. You can find my phone number. I recommend sending me a text or an email. I don't generally answer phone calls during the day because I'm usually with somebody. I don't have a secretary. There's nobody here to answer the phones. But yeah, the process works. You give me a call. We have a conversation. If you like what you hear, you pay for a consult. I book it in my schedule, and you come in, and I put you through a movement assessment, talk about your goals, talk about the things going on, all that. We make sure it's safe for you to lift, make sure there's no contraindications. There's no reason that your doctor wouldn't want you exercising. We do all that stuff, get all that out of the way, and I find the path of least resistance to get you lifting. That is how it works.
Now, ladies, listen. I don't want to get a call from Ben that says all you ladies are sending him DMs and sliding into it. This is about movement restoration. I don't hear no bullshit where all of a sudden Ben's like, Sean, I need you to go ahead and pull my episode. I'm getting a lot of messages that are inappropriate. I can't be dealing with it. So I don't want to hear about all that. So
I was in the Marines. I can handle it.
Listen, I'll tell you a story. Listen, we'll talk about this offline. We need to talk about restoration.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been been on duty and got that phone call from like the random chick that somehow has the duty phone number and calls it. Have you ever had one of those experiences?
I got lucky, and that didn't happen to me.
That has happened to me. Sucks.
Wasn't it long enough for that?
Oh, dude, that was in my first 4 years. That was 94 through 98.
Yeah, we had a few of them like living at our barracks, but I was never on duty when that was happening, so I lucked out.
Have you ever seen the video where the young Marine has the cat in his barracks room and like like you can see the cat in his window of his barracks room, and like somebody's taking a picture of it, and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be real bad."
It hasn't made it to my algorithm yet.
My algorithm sends me Marine Corps stuff all the time, where I'm like, "Oh." So if somebody can't get to you, obviously we know they can go to the website and they can do those kind of things.
Yeah.
But is there any kind of, other than get up off your bottom and go do something, even if
I
it's
wouldn't tell anybody to get up off their bottom and do something, because
really,
the last thing I want to do is have them go hurt themselves. I can what I can say, work through the stability exercises. Any stability exercise you can do on my channel that doesn't cause pain, I would say do those. Before you can do strength, you got to have stability. The mobility.
Like, what's the first one? Is there something you would say, like, hey, this is the simplest, start with this one?
Yeah, start core stability. Begin with core stability. I mean, everything flows from the core. There's no gross motor task you can perform without that transverse abdominis we talked about firing first. It is the first muscle to fire when you do anything. So if it doesn't fire correctly, you screw up movement before you even start. And all those exercises, as long as you perform them correctly, are designed to train the transverse abdominis along with everything else to work together to help you move correctly.
How about the other end of the spectrum, like the one exercise that, because I can tell you the one I see at the gym all the time, where I'm like, you young ladies are going to blow your entire spine out, which is this, like, I don't know if it's a booty exercise or what, where they get on the Smith machine and they bring it down and they have the bench and they're just kind of hip thrusting. You know what I'm talking about?
It's actually a pretty safe exercise, believe it.
Like, to me, it just looks like you're going to blow your spine out.
It's very low risk. You can certainly hurt yourself doing it, but it's a pretty low risk exercise. You're using hip extension. Hip extension is the most powerful movement you have. The bar's on your pelvis. Make sure your setup's correct. But it is in my, I do use it. It's a glute bridge or a hip thrust. I do use it, but not before you have all the other fundamental human movements like the deadlift. And honestly, most people won't be able to do it correctly because their hip flexors are restricted because they sit too much. So I wouldn't start there. If you've never done anything, I would start with the stability, mobility, stability. And then when you've got the mobility and you've got the stability, I've got videos on there, how to deadlift correctly, how to squat correctly. There's like 160, maybe 170 videos on there. And there's a lot. I cover a lot of content. So there's a lot there. Someday there will be a platform which has everything organized for you. You'll take an assessment. It'll tell you everything you need to do in order to get better. But until then, I would say if you're desperate for movement, go on my channel and just do what I tell you to do. Start with the easy stuff, work to the harder stuff.
Is there any exercises like gym stuff or stuff like that you would say, hey, avoid this, or this is really an advanced exercise, avoid this for now? What would you say?
Don't do anything where the bar is above you, like a squat or a bench. Because when the bar's above you, there's potential energy and bad things can happen.
Like a clean and jerk?
Definitely not. That's very advanced. That's a clean and jerk is it's a squat and a deadlift. You need both, and you need to be able to sequence them and coordinate them. So definitely not a clean and jerk. That's my big thing against CrossFit is they're having people do Olympic lifts. Number one for cardio, which is terrible. You should never do an Olympic lift more than 5 times with a working weight. If you're learning, you should never do it more than 10 times. And then they're doing it like 50, 60 reps, snatches, power cleans, clean and jerks. Should not happen. They say stick with it. I don't like machines, but for beginners, machines are really good because the risk of injury is low. Now
I know why I don't love machines. I do like hammer strength, but I know why I don't like machines. What's your reasoning?
I don't like machines because they don't train the body to work together. They train the body in components. Your body is not a car. It's not an automobile. As much as medical America thinks it's a car, it's really not. You can't just take parts out, put parts in. You can't train parts in isolation and then expect them to work along with the whole. In people that train, like I've had a few people who have done a lot of machine work come see me, and typically their fascia is incredibly dysregulated and unbalanced. Because no matter how complete your programming is, if you're not doing total body movements like a deadlift, like a squat when performed correctly, if you're not doing total body movements, your fascia never lengthen completely in a functional movement, and they become restricted. And muscles, and you're not training your neuromuscular system, and then you end up with imbalanced muscles, and it's better than nothing, but definitely not as good as total body movement.
100% agree with you. I was just always told when you use machines, you restrict motion, and you're teaching your body only to move in one motion, and those fine twitch muscles that control things, they're not being engaged. So you're losing that. Is that true? I don't know.
That is true. Yeah. Machines really took over in the 80s. So when Arnold was big, that's when like the Nautilus, all those Nautilus machines started coming out. If you look at, this is another fun topic. It's too bad we're running low on time right now. Another fun topic. Look at what a gym looked like 100 years ago. It's literally just an open space with it looks like a circus. There's like strongman equipment on the ground. There's like trapeze bars. There's climbing ropes. The gym was a place to explore movement. That's what it used to be. And then in I don't know when exactly, late 70s, early 80s, Nautilus took over the world. All their machines would pack the place. And it's a lot easier you can take anybody off the street and teach them to use the Nautilus, any one of their machines. But to get somebody to be able to, pick a weight up over their head, that's really hard. You need a lot of knowledge for that. And so ease and scalability took over, proper movement, and we're still paying for it today.
I missed it. So I go to a Planet Fitness, and it's not where I want to be. I miss the days of going to a gym that just smelled like sweat and despair. It had 2 treadmills in it that neither one of them worked quite properly as you walked on them. You just went click, 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 and using those. And if you wanted to know how to get stronger, you looked around the room and you found the person that had a body like what you were looking for. You went, hey man, what did you do? Hopefully he didn't hand you a handful of pills, but you went to that guy, and that was the guy that because most people think oh, I can't ask him. No, most gym guys want to tell you. I was going to tell you, I was in the gym recently. It is trying to curl 75 pounds. Ben, I cringed as a dad as I'm watching him wrench his whole back. I was like, bud, that's too heavy for you. He's like, oh, I've got this plan. I do this. And I'm like, good luck. Godspeed. You'll be seeing a chiropractor soon. But I mean, he was full back wrenched trying to do this. And I'm like, you're going to die. You're going to die like that. It's mind boggling. So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you, what the process is.
Yeah, so easiest way to get a hold of me is email or text. So the business line is 518-741-1152. My email is Ben at fitworksite.com. That's FITWORKSITE.com. Text or email, please. If you call me, leave a message. Just don't be surprised if I don't get back to you for a week. I'm terrible about it. I'm really sorry, but it is just me here. And we pull long days. I was up at 4:30 this morning. And we're still going strong.
Say that number one more time.
Yep, 518-741-1152.
Look, folks, if you're finding me through Ben or Ben through me, especially his YouTube page, make sure you go find his YouTube page. Give it a like, share, follow. If you're finding me through Ben, follow our YouTube page. Follow all of our social media. I don't care. You can follow me in the parking lot. I really don't care. Make sure you're following us. I know it sounds cliche and all those things. We do this every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always having different folks on, always different guests, different things. Matter of fact, next week we have a gentleman coming on. His name is Eddie Bale. He's the host of Code Freedom Podcast, a show dedicated to helping ambitious professionals break free of their 9-to-5 grind and create a life of purpose, impact, and financial freedom. Eddie himself was in corporate America up until about age 32, built a 6-figure income through entrepreneurship, where he now helps others create that same freedom of time without sacrificing security and success. So make sure you're joining us next week, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to see what he's got going on, what he's got happening. Now, Ben, I know Well, first off, Ben, you know what this year is, Ben? We'll just for you and me, I don't give a shit about nobody else for a minute. You know what this year is, right?
It's 2025, right? Still 2025?
Still 2025, but you know what this year is?
250th Marine Corps birthday?
I'm actually going to the ball this year, Ben. I haven't been to a ball since 2014.
I don't even think I have my dress blues anymore. I got no idea where they are.
I have a set that's inside of a glass case to my right, but I couldn't tell you my own personal. They're up in an attic somewhere, but yeah. So just throwing that out there for a minute. We're going. This is my first ball I've been to since 2013 because I retired in 2014. Yeah, I retired before the ball, so 2013 was.
I was deployed for 2 balls, so how many did I go? I only think I went to 1. I only think I went to 1 Marine Corps. I was in boot camp for the first ball and deployed for 2 more, and so I only got to go to 1 ball. Yeah.
You want me to find out? You want to come and I'll see if I can get you tickets to this one?
If you pay for the blues, sure.
I ain't wearing blues, dude. I'm wearing like a suit and tie. I did.
Oh yeah, I know you can do that.
Yeah, we're civilians now. We can do that.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll think about it. Send me an invite, Sean. I'll think about it.
I'll reach out to this command. Like I have to know by the. Well, we might be a little late because they needed to know by the 15th. But I actually thought about going to that place out in Latham that sells all the Scottish clothing and kilts and getting a Marine Corps kilt.
Get a kilt.
They make a Marine Corps kilt. There's an actual designed specific Marine Corps kilt. If you did not,
You're a much braver man than I, Sean.
They have sexy hairy legs. They're absolutely gorgeous. So make sure you're giving Ben likes, shares, and follows, folks. Now, Ben, don't log off on me afterwards. We got to talk for just a minute. Yep. But at the end of every episode, and I know you know this because you've binge watched everything we do, the guest always gets the final word. So what's our final word for tonight, Ben?
Thank you for watching, everyone. Yeah, please reach out. I'm a nice guy. I don't bite, and I'd love to help you.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.